What's going on, people? Welcome back to Curtis Shaw TV, back with another live stream. It's been a while, people. It has been a while. Forgive me for being late. I'm probably still on US time, people. My laptop was bugging out. But we're back, people. Good to be back with the community. Didn't get back till this afternoon, so I thought I'd do the stream a little bit later rather than waiting until tomorrow. And great to be back with everyone, people. C-Unit Business, big up yourself. Big up everyone locked in. The legend is back. Big up the community, man. Long time, my bro. It feels like a while. It's a reunion today, people. The short content does what it does while I'm away, but it's definitely not as good as the live streams, I can't lie. Big up Boss J. Ricky said miss the streams. Big up South London's finest. Big up the C-Unit crew every time. Welcome back, Big C. No place like home. Good to be back. Just the weather. That's the only thing, man. You know, it's July, man. It's England. It's summer. 15 degrees and cloud. Give us some sunshine, man. But hey, George Graham should receive a statue. We'll talk about that. That's an interesting one. Big up Chris. Good to see you back. Heard C-Unit has an American accent now, like Madonna. Nah, no American accent. I can't lie. Yeah, I'm back home. Fabio V now after that worldie. What are we saying? We're giving him a little bit more respect for the goal. It was a great goal, to be honest. Yo, big killer Kurt. Big up yourself, Zane. Glad to see you back. I was there on Wednesday, said Victor. Big up yourself. It was a very good game. Good way to end the tour. Well, seeing Big C's looking refreshed. Must have flown back first class. I wish, bro. I wish. Arthur said Shaw on tour was class. Thanks for keeping the content going. Big up to everyone. I'm going to try and get the vlog sorted out in the next couple of days over the weekend. In-N-Out Burger is right. Yeah, listen, it was good. I enjoyed it. I had to get the In-N-Out Burger. For anyone that knows, I thought the fries were pretty average, but the burger was good. Khalid, hey, listen, why are you doing me dirty like that, bro? I've only been back a few hours, you know what I mean? Man ain't slept properly. How's the Drake concert, Big C? There's just no need for it. There's no need for it, Khalid, you know? For those of you seeing the story, you'll know. For those of you that don't, like I said, we was in a bar, and Drake was in New York, and the tickets were $300. That was the cheapest ticket right at the back. So I go on Ticketmaster and there's a ticket for $42. Took that straight away, paid for it. Next day I'm making plans. Yo, how much is it going to cost me to get there? Blah, blah, blah. Look to see where my seat is and I've bought a parking space in the car park. So when it said restricted view, I was thinking, restricted view? You're damn right it's restricted, bro. I've got 4,000 cars in front of me in a massive arena. So, yeah, there was no chance of me seeing that Drake concert. So, yeah, it is what it is. But thank you very much, Khalid, for, smashing apart my ambitions of watching that concert. Car park unit, C-Unit, car park unit business. Big up, Rowan. You couldn't write it, could you? You could not write it. I bought a parking space. It's unbelievable. Car park Mudrick. I was with Mudrick in the car park, people. But anyway, and I didn't even use the parking space. I tried to sell it back. They didn't even want to buy it. So I got well and truly bumped. Anyway, let's move on. Always read the small print, people, is the lesson to learn from that. Always read the small print. Imagine if I traveled there, queued up, and they told me, yeah, anyway, let's move on from that. Big up to everyone. We've gone past 65k. Really appreciate it. I never take these milestones for granted. Always have to be thankful. I remember doing live streams, 15, 20 people tuned in, you know. So I'm always thankful that there's hundreds and thousands sometimes of people locked in. So big up the community. Appreciate the support. Yeah, I would have had to put the speaker on and just pretend that I would have had my own concert outside. That's Karma Big C for Car Park Mudrick comments. It could be. It could be. You know, karma goes round and round. Maybe it come back to get me, you know. Got to respect the grind and hustle, or hustle and grind for my man Big C, doing the manly work. Hey, listen, we got to get it done, you know. Cormac said, any chance of Daichi bid for Nketiah? Listen, over here, Everton, mate. We want proper players. We want players that can hold the ball up. You know, we eat bricks, we eat wood, we eat concrete. I mean, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, he's on the catwalk. So, Eddie Nketiah, I don't know if he's the answer. We give £3.50 for him. Take it or leave it, Cormac. That's the best I can do for you, mate. And we'll leave it there. Daichi's back in the country, people. Robbie and Turkish was rolling. Yeah, they was destroying me with the car park thing, man. Drake tickets were $300, bro. Anyway, let's move on. Daichi is back. Big up Cormac. Let's get into the show. Lots to talk about. Going to do a little recap of the tour. Going to talk transfers. Going to talk Arsene Wenger. Lots of stuff to talk about. Flew back in this afternoon. 10-hour flight from LA. And listen, it's good to be back. It was an unbelievable tour. I've got to be honest, the Man United game put a downer on it. Because, you know, we'd done previews with Flex and KG, and there was a lot of Man United fans. I knew a few Man United fans who were there. And I felt like they slapped us. You know, I really didn't like that game at all. I felt like Man United turned up like it was a league game. We turned up like it was a friendly. When they started kicking us, it was like, yo, what's going on? And before we realised what was happening, the game was done. So it was frustrating, that game, I have to admit. But the Barcelona game was magnificent. And obviously having pitch side access made it even better. The MLS All-Stars game, we bopped them. You could tell they weren't a real team. They had no cohesion. And we bopped them. Sultan said, what was your favourite city on the tour? DC, New York, or LA? Now, DC was good. DC was good. Wasn't that difficult to get about. And once I saw like the marina and, you know, the White House and all that sort of stuff, I did like DC. The other two I would put above DC. It's very difficult for me to separate those two cities. They're totally different, but very unique. I looked at, when I was in LA, I was thinking, if I had big money, this is somewhere I could live. Beverly Hills, the big houses up in the hills, lovely shops, Melrose, you know, Hollywood, brilliant weather, not too humid. You know, the only thing I would say with LA, the traffic is as bad as anything I have ever seen in the world. Like, they need more roads in LA. LA is unbelievable as a city, I've got to be honest. But the traffic, you know, little 3-4 mile journeys are taking ages. The traffic's outrageous. New York is magical. There's something about New York that just inspires me. I don't know what it is. It's very difficult to put my finger on it. There's something about New York, man, that is really magic. And, you know, I went through some of the ends as well. You can see the difficult parts of New York. It's a difficult one. It's a difficult one. I can't lie. I think I'd probably live in New York and have a holiday home in LA if I had that kind of money, you know. But it is what it is. DC, nice as well. But LA, the traffic, wow, man. They need to build a subway system or something. But I have to admit, I had a great time in all three cities for different reasons, just different cities. Dre said, big up, and like Starboy Curtis from the hood to Hollywood. Big up yourself, bro. Big up yourself. In the ghetto. You know what? I'm one of these people. People think I'm strange for this. When I go to cities, I like to go to the ends. And I'm not, like, I don't know why. I feel like when I go to a city, I need to connect with, you know, the heart and soul of a city. And people think I'm mad. I'm like, yo, let's go to, you know, in LA, I'm like, let's go to Crenshaw. When I'm in New York, I'm like, let's go Brooklyn. Let's go Harlem. I don't know. I don't just want to see a city center and the big lights and the big buildings and the flashy cars. I have to see the chicken shop on the corner. I have to see where everyone is posted. I'm not staying there too long. I'm not going to lie. I'm not posted up on the corner for hours. I might be there for 5-10 minutes, but I have to have that little feel of it, you know. I have to get that local food and, you know, but I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Yeah, the culture, man. You have to know where your people are at. That's how it is. But when I go Jamaica, I go Spanish Town. Yeah, anyway, let me move on. Let me move on because people will be tuning in. I'm trying to listen to Arsenal and you're talking about this and that. But I'm just saying, when I go to these cities, I have to know the real, you know, ground level, what's really going on. Anyway, let's move on. Let's do a little recap of the tour and get it out of the way. The tour, I've got to be honest, last year's tour in Orlando was absolutely brilliant. We were there for a week. It was easy because we're in the same place, so we were settled. This tour was very different. It was unbelievable. it was very heavy with the traveling. You know, we got the train from DC to New York, about 3 hours on the Amtrak, and then we got to New York. We did the flight from New York to LA, which wasn't a great flight, I've got to be honest. 5 6 hour flight makes you realize how big America is. That you can go on a plane for 6 hours and we're still in the same country. Like, it's wild. When you think about England, you know, you can go top to bottom of England driving in probably 6 7 hours. These, man, you're going on a plane for 6 hours and you're still in the same country. America is huge, so big. And then LA, and then the 10-hour flight back from LA today, man. I don't know about anyone else. I struggle to sleep on planes, man. You know, I don't know why. Even if I'm exhausted, I'll go on the plane and I'm just there, can't sleep, or I get a 1 2 hours. But yeah, man, what a great country it is. I have to admit, man, it's a very enjoyable country to go to. I'm sure there are a lot of difficulties about it as well, but a great country to go to, man. And listen, all three games are very different. The DC game against the All Stars, we went to the skill challenge the night before, which was interesting. I actually quite enjoyed that. It's the type of thing they do in NBA. I think that's something they could bring into football. I know it's not for everyone. A lot of the traditionalists don't like it. But the Audi Field, I think it holds about 25,000. It was all right. I quite enjoyed that. Wayne Rooney was there. I didn't get on-field access for that one, unfortunately, so I didn't really get any great footage or anything from that one. But it was good, 5-0. Havertz scored, Trossard scored, Jorginho, Jesus scored a belter in that one as well. It was a good victory, handled business. We then went to New York, and that game disappointed me, I can't lie. As I said briefly, I'm just quickly going through it. You're in New York, you're playing Man United, there was fans everywhere. Done a preview with Flex and KG. I'm talking smoke, we're better than you, we're going to beat you, blah, blah, blah. And we just didn't turn up. That game was awful. 80-odd thousand, there was fans fighting in there, it was crazy. We didn't turn up. We turned up, I think, a little bit arrogant, thinking we were going to roll them. And they hit us on the break. The pitch wasn't great, and I think they worked it better because United were very direct. We tried to pass around on it, and we got clipped. They clipped us, I can't lie. Sancho up front, false nine. They done us. Ramsdale should have saved one. Gabriel with a Sunday morning kind of error. CU financed the trip. Did the club help you? Absolutely not. The club, listen, there's no connection outside of supporting the club. There ain't no free ticket. There ain't no discount. There ain't no nothing. Trust me. You've heard the way I talk about the club when around certain things. They are not financing a penny. I think you could know from watching the channel. They're not financing a damn thing. So we lose to Man United, disappointing, but let's give credit to the team, the manager. We bounced back in LA. For me, the SoFi Stadium, possibly the best stadium I've ever been to. Not in terms of atmosphere, far better atmospheres, but it's like you're in a spaceship. Like, you're just like, what on earth is this stadium? I've honestly never seen anything like it. It's like being in a concert. At the same time as being in a football stadium. I was like, wow, this is where the Kroenke money has gone over the years, man. And it's an unbelievable stadium. Absolutely unbelievable. And that game was fantastic. We clipped up Barcelona. Played some unbelievable football. And I really enjoyed that. We shouldn't have even conceded 3 goals. We should have beat them 6 or 7-1. We missed a penalty. The deflected free kick, Odegaard turns his back. The one where Odegaard gives it away, there's a slip on the third. We could have beat them 6 or 7-1. So, yeah, great way to end the tour. Gave a lot of positive feelings after that result. Ioku said, Curtis, greetings. Saw you from afar in LA, visiting from Canada. Big up yourself. Nothing free in the USA. I doubt they gave you free tickets. No. Fraser, the games aside, what was your favourite city? No offence if it isn't DC. Like I said, I'll be honest. LA and New York were above DC for me. I did like DC, but there was just so much to do there, that's probably the thing. But DC, very nice. Down by that marina where all the boats are and stuff like that, really enjoyed that, and a lot of good culture there and heritage to see as well. Loz said, Big C, I took a pic with you outside of Audi Field in DC. Good to meet you, brother. I'll hit you on Instagram. Big up, Loz. Big up yourself, bro. Hit me up on the gram. Young Palace, was a pleasure seeing you in the AFTV, lads, again. Hopefully we can link up in London. Big up from the Peruvian twins. Brilliant, these two. Absolutely great interview as well after the game, man. Big up to you two guys. Big up Trixie, who said, the team, as I've said for a long time, looks defensively messy. Kudos Barella is needed. Kind of shameless. Nobody puts these names forth. Good goals, though. You make a great point, because the very interesting thing about this tour for me was how many goals we were conceding. Yeah, of course, big up Robbie and all the guys. Well, I had a fantastic time with all of them, man. It was a brilliant trip and really enjoyable. The interesting thing for me, we signed defenders. I was like, we're defensively solid, and we conceding goals. 3 against Barca, which we shouldn't have. 2 against United. Mistakes. Even against MLS All-Stars, we could have conceded. But we got away with it, so we need to fix that. Emirates Cup on Wednesday against Monaco. Manchester City at the weekend in the Community Shield. And then the league starts in 2 weeks against Forest. So no time to mess about. I did have chicken and waffles. We went to Roscoe's. We don't mess about, people. It was proper. I can't lie. Dre, I mean, this conversation, let me just say, we had this debate a number of times in America. My thing with Ramsdale is that he shouldn't be guaranteed number 1. I'm going to give him his credit. It is pre-season. I've seen strikers struggle to score goals in pre-season, then hit the ground running once the season starts. So this isn't me saying Ramsdale's got to go or he's not good enough. No, I'm not saying that. But he needs competition, and I mean genuine competition. No disrespect, Matt Turner's not probably going to get him out of the team. Sometimes when you know as a footballer you're guaranteed, it's like being in a job. If you know that you can turn up 20 minutes late on Monday and your manager ain't going to do a damn thing, every now and then you're going to turn up 20 minutes late on Monday because you can get away with it. You might have had a heavy weekend and you're a little bit tired, and that brother ain't going to say nothing to me. I just feel like Ramsdale is walking around the place knowing, come on, man, even if I kick the ball out of play, I'm playing on Saturday. Even if I let one go through my hands and it costs us a goal, I'm playing on Saturday. You know, and that's the problem for me. Should have saved Bruno Fernandes' goal. You know, his kicking in this tour has been poor. The amount of times he was kicking the ball out of play. I think he needs some pressure on him. But they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it, unfortunately. He's very much the number 1. So I think he's going to have to prove himself. He's going to have to prove. Never saves penalties either. Even never saves penalty. Penalty shootout against Man U didn't even go the right way for about 3 of them. So it's a big season for him. The manager's backed him, and it just hasn't. Listen, he's still a quality keeper, but there are definitely things he needs to improve on. And we'll see how he does. The proof will be in the pudding. Now, a couple of things I want to talk about from the tour. I know I'm waffling. Mikel Arteta settings. This one was a funny one. So, for the United and the Barcelona game, I got pitch side access. But the one with Man United was restricted. I was only allowed in certain parts around the pitch. So I wasn't really able to get that close to the Arsenal players until after the game in the press zone. But the game against Barcelona, I had full access. I was literally like next to the dugout when the game was starting. So Declan Rice is standing there and I'm like, yo, Deckers. And he turns around. I'm like, yo, come here, bro, come here. And he comes over. I'm like, what's happening, man? I said, listen, man, I'm glad you chose Arsenal over City, man. He just laughed. And I was like, are you feeling here? He says, yo, I love it, man. I feel like I've been here for years. And you could just see the smile on his face, man. He was proper, like, you could just see the happiness oozing out of him. And I was like, how come you're not playing? He said, I got a kicking training yesterday. little bit of bruising on the calf. Don't want to risk it. I'll be all right for next week. So no serious injury. Now, the picture was funny, right? Because as you can probably tell by my face, I wasn't even ready to take the picture. I'm like holding it to take a selfie, and as I'm lining it up, I've pressed it. I look back on the picture and it's like, oh damn, I look like, I've just I'm shocked. Like, I've just looked at the starting 11 and I've seen Eddie Nketiah, Rob Holding and El Neni starting. But it is what it is. We move. And I had that stupid high-vis bib on as well, which ruins my swag, people. You know what I'm saying? But we keep it moving. We keep it moving. The picture said enough. And yeah, listen, man, it was good. I spoke to him for probably about 2 minutes. And yeah, man, you can tell he's excited, man. You can tell he's happy to be here. He said he's buzzing, and it is what it is. It is what it is. So ignore the surprised look on my face, people. We got that one slightly wrong, but the picture told you what needed to be said. So, yeah, big up Deckers. Some people are on to me on Twitter. You said he's not worth 100 million. Now you're taking pictures with him. You're a hypocrite. Yeah, I still stand by it, people. I'm not telling no lies. I'm not telling no lies. I've said this all along. Do I think Declan Rice is worth £100 million? I don't. But if you've got the money, you can afford something, and you believe it is worth that, who cares, people? Rich people don't care, do they, when they spend big money? They don't even look at the price. I said I wanted Arsenal to pay the 100 million, so because I want the player. So it is what it is. He'll prove as time goes on. You're a hypocrite. Twitter gets angry, right? Twitter's a very angry place. Post a picture on the gram. Yo, big pic. C unit and rice, jollof rice and peas. You put it on Twitter. You're a hypocrite. You're not proper Arsenal. You know how Twitter is. I think Twitter's changed its name. It's called X now. Maybe it'll change. Maybe it'll change the personalities on there as well. But anyway, we done the job. We got that one done anyway, man. Like Deckers. And let's speak about something else from the tour. And yeah, let's have an explanation. It's a funny one. It is a funny one. But you're the community. I'll give you the explanation, the full explanation, of course. The press conference. This was a funny one as well, people. I know what you're thinking. I've said it time and time and time again. If you let me in that press conference, I'll grill him. I'll be like a George Foreman grill. He won't know what's hit him. Yeah, I know. I can see you in the comments. I see you all. Explanation needed. You know the song. Kylian Mbappe. I said I'd be banned if I went in there. I mean, I might not be banned, but I might not get back in. Let me give you my explanation. I'll give it you from all angles. Some of you are on to me here, right? But I'm going to give it... It's the debut. Sometimes you debut, you get the last 15 minutes in front of 60,000. You might just play a few sideward passes and keep it moving. Get 5 out of 10 and you go for the next one. So let me give you my angle of how this all came about. Press conference is coming up. I'm thinking, right, I've got 2 questions planned that I'm going to ask him, right? So you go in the press conference, and it is a little bit daunting when you get in there. I can't lie. There's 30, 40 people in there. There's a whole heap of cameras. Arteta's 6 yards away from you. Zinchenko's there. So I've got my 2 questions lined up. And there's about 5 or 6 people next to me. So they put the microphone that side. So it's getting passed down the row. So they give you... So first, the second question. One of my questions is gone. Bang! Thomas Partey. I wanted to know is Thomas Partey staying. So that one's gone. I've got one more question. Then about 2 questions before my question, they asked the second question. So the brother next to me, who happens to be Cecil, he's asking his question, and in my head, I'm all over the place. I'm absolutely scrambling. I'm scrambling. I'm asking Arteta a question in 30 seconds. My 2 questions that I've prepared are gone. They're gone. They're out the window. So in my head, I'm thinking, what was going on Twitter and social media before I came in it? And 10 minutes before I went in there, Mbappe to Arsenal was trending. So I'm like, what's going on here? Mbappe to Arsenal was trending. So I'm like, I'm just going to ask him about Mbappe. I'm asking him. So I go, Mikel, Mbappe could be available. Do you think it could happen? He shuts it down real quick. He did give it a little side smile, Arsene Wenger, but he says, I can't talk about players who are contracted to other clubs. Game, set, match, done. Over. Pass the mic. You had your chance to spit your verse. It's over. Now, I thought about it after and I was like, do you know what? How I should have angled that question is, because we know we're not signing Kylian Mbappe. It's just not happening. What I should have said was, Mbappe is available. Do you believe that Arsenal can sign players of that level? Can we sign the top players in the world? Can we spend 150 million? Then he could have given me an explanation without it actually being aimed at Mbappe. And that's how I should have done it. But let me just say something. Because a lot of people saying, pass the mic settings. Let me tell you 2 things about that press conference. That question did more than any other question in that press conference. Let me tell you that right now. Like, if you went online that night, Fabrizio, most of they were all like, he got asked about Mbappe. He hasn't denied Mbappe. Blah, blah, blah. It made the biggest impact. I'm not saying it was a hit record, but it definitely made the biggest impact. It was a talking point for a couple of days. I can't lie, people. So, and like I said, there was a guy next to me, just next to Cecil, and he said, it's my first press conference. He said, I'm a little bit nervous. And the guy said, Leandro Trossard came off with a knock. Is he going to be available? And Arteta said, yes, he'll be available. And when I heard that, I just thought, bro, come on. Like, I'm not asking you a question like, I don't even care about the answer. I'm here to make headlines. You remember the track from Drake? They know. Headlines, people. Man's making headlines. Fabrizio, though, let me say something. Tag me, bro. You're right, Sadiq. The brother got 6.5 million views putting up that question on his account and never said where the question came from. That's tapping merchant settings from Fabrizio. I don't like that. So, yeah, the question should have got generalized a little bit more, but it is what it is. It was what it was. It was still a great experience. People saying I'm clutching. Okay. But I hear you. But we definitely made the biggest impact online. Let me tell you that. It made a big impact online. So, you deserve a timeout. Listen, I can go for 3 minutes if necessary. But listen, it's a learning curve. I'll be honest, it's a learning curve. One thing I'd say, you go in them press conferences, you need 4 or 5 questions lined up. That's something you definitely have to be prepared for, because the man will just ask your question real quick. But yeah, there's your explanation. I just wanted to see the angle of how it happened, and it's funny enough. People was like, yo, bruv, I'm glad you went and asked him about Mbappe straight up, but the way I structured it, I think, was wrong rather than the question. But the question itself, I stand behind it. Bring Mbappe to the carpet. But it is what it is. But listen, great experience. Great experience. And hopefully next year we get this. I should be able to get access again anytime we go on tour, really. It's just a shame in the Premier League you can't get that sort of access. They don't allow it. So, listen, it was a brilliant tour. Absolutely brilliant tour. Obviously, we got the interview with a man like Smith Rowe as well. Are You Fit, Bruv? Part 2. That had to happen, of course. We had to do it in a bit more of a professional manner. So I was like, how's your fitness? Because, Sky Sports was there and BBC was there and all that. I couldn't really say, are you fit, bruv? It would have been an absolute banger, Are You Fit, Bruv? Part 2. But I had to ask it in a more professional way than than last year. But you knew what was going on, people. So big up Smith Rowe for coming over and talking. I believe he did recognise me from last year because he was very talkative and stuff like that off camera. So listen, it was good. I had a few brief chats with some other players, but didn't get anything recorded in interview format. But listen, I have to say this, and I'm not just saying this because ESR gave up the time to do a little bit of an interview. I really want things to work out for ESR. ESR is one of our own. He looks sharper. He does look fitter. He looks a little bit slimmer. He looked quick. He looked good when he came on. I think it's a big season for him to force his way into the fold again. And I really hope it works out for him. And like I said, I'm not just saying that because he did the interview, man. He looked good. He looked sharp. So big up Smith Rowe. Little roundup of the tour, people. It was fantastic. Interviewing Smith Rowe, getting in the press conference, you know, meeting all the players. It was fantastic. You know, I went in the press conference after the Barcelona game. We weren't able to ask a question because the game was delayed by half an hour. So they were only taking 3 or 4 questions from the major outlets like Sky and BBC. But, you know, I'm 6 yards away from Xavi, you know, a player that, you know, I've watched for many years. One of the best midfielders I've ever seen. Things like that. Unbelievable experience. And you just learn from it. So what a tour. And we're going to build. You know, I sit there and think, you know, I started this in the spare bedroom. And then a few years later, you're sitting in front of Arteta asking him questions. Xavi's there. You're taking pictures with Declan Rice. You're pitch side. You're interviewing Declan Smith Rowe. That's what it's all about, people. So we move. We continue to move, you know, and build. And hopefully the Arsenal team build. It's an exciting season. Let me go through these super chats, and we're going to talk football. Proper Arsenal and all of that. Marty said, why did Brian McKnight sing the anthem at the MLS All-Star game? Did they not know you were there? Listen, I'd have been happy to sing it. You've heard my singing on air. I would have done it for a lot cheaper as well. Big up Marty. Mooney said, big up Curtis VIP Shaw. I saw you and Cecil next to the pitch in the SoFi from the top section. Sadly couldn't meet you next time for sure. That's a shame, bro. We was outside as well doing fan cams afterwards. But big up. Yeah, we were lucky to be pitch side, man. It was brilliant. Big up to you, Mooney. Cormac said, Curtis, is Tierney going to leave this window? Does Timber take his place? Who is your starting back for? Also, is Partey definitely staying? Listen, I always say I don't want to be an ITK. I don't have inside info. I've had conversations while I've been on tour. You get a general feeling, but you don't know. I remember last year in Orlando, people telling me, oh, Tielemans is coming. And he never came to Arsenal. Tierney, for me, wants to stay. I think if somebody makes a big offer, they'll consider it. I think we have to keep him. I think it would be a big mistake to let him go. But the reality is, Zinchenko hasn't played one game of this tour and Tierney hasn't started. So it tells you a lot about him. I think they've played Kivior, Tomiyasu and Timber at left back. So that tells, you know, actions speak louder than words in football, unfortunately. He's potentially third or fourth choice left back. But you saw against Barcelona, he came on, he played well, he set up a goal. I think we should be keeping him. My starting back four would be Zinchenko, Gabriel, Saliba and Timber. It sounds harsh because I think Ben White's done really well, but I just love watching Timber play. I think he's been absolutely fantastic. Let me tell you something. Gabriel needs to cut out these mistakes because otherwise Timber goes centre-back or Ben White goes, because I don't like what I've seen from Gabriel in the past couple of games. The bozo gene has been at the forefront, so he needs to fix up as well. I think Partey will stay, and I think we have to keep him. You saw his performance against Barcelona. He's outstanding. You've got to keep him. Trixie said, centre-back situation, arguably Haaland licking his lips. G, bless up. Look, seeing you with awesome G drip. Al Hilal are doing what we need to do and stock up. Their money is crazy, man. The Saudi League is going crazy. It really is. Timber is elegant on the ball. He's a powerhouse, man. Abdul Ghaffar, congrats, bro. You deserved it. Something special about your representation. It was nice meeting you in person in New York. Big up yourself, bro. Chris said Partey must stay. David said Partey is our best midfielder. I think he is in terms of centre midfielder. Sadiq said Xavi was actually respectful in the post-match. He was. He seemed Very respectful. O'Malley said we concede goals because we're experimenting. Also, better to concede to mistakes now in pre-season. Yeah, you're right. I think they need to stop experimenting now, probably, for Emirates Cup and Man City, and get ready for the Prem. Looks like you got caught stealing something. The picture with Rice, says Simon. I hear you. That pick is screaming that Cali Bud hit different. Hey, Alfred, big up yourself, bro. O'Malley said Declan Rice doesn't think Declan Rice is he probably doesn't. Let's be real, but he's got to back himself as a player. Big up O'Malley. Loz said Big C tuned into SWV. We can... Oh, man. Hey, listen. Go easy, bro. How was the Drake concert, said Last King. I mean, I wouldn't know, my friend. Didn't get anywhere near it, unfortunately. I can tell you how the car park looks, though. But, hey, go easy, bro. Go easy, bro. Why Always Me said, on that picture with Rice, you look like you pull up your phone. I was shocked, bro. No, I wasn't even shocked. I wasn't even ready to take the picture. I was trying to press the button. I pressed it, and it was like, all right, just leave it like that. John Layout said Fabrizio doing ghostwriter settings, but yo, that playing business, that wasn't cool. Listen, Fabrizio, give me the credit, bro. What are you doing? Anyway, let's get into the show. I've waffled on for 35 minutes. Had to do a recap. Tell us about United Airlines loose pack, bro. Let me just quickly. I'm sorry. I know I've been waffling. So United Airlines, New York to LA, flight delayed. Can happen, no problem. Flight delayed. The guy comes on the tannoy and says, "We've got a loose panel on the back of the plane, and we can't fly until it's fixed." So I'm sitting there. I remember I've been telling you about the Leah experiences I've had in Jamaica and the Caribbean and Dominica. When man's pulling out duct tape like you're fixing up a bike. A loose panel. You better get me off this plane. I'll fly 2 hours time. I don't want to be on this plane. Let me tell you, that was not a nice flight. That was not a nice flight. Until that touched the ground, I was nervous. I was nervous. Let me tell you. Did not enjoy that. So yeah, United, man, jeez, that was not in a loose panel, you know. I was thinking to get off the plane. Real talk, I was gonna get off. I don't know why they told us. Everyone started panicking. Yo, everyone was like, yo, what's happening? There's a loose panel. I was like, get me off here. Living in America, eh? Living in America. Dun, 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 Yo, it was mad. Loose panel. It was wild. Anyway, let's move on. At least we're back home now. Firmly feet on the ground. No, it wasn't Spirit. 33 fivers. Curtis, sorry I missed you in DC. $300 per ticket for a family of 4. I don't blame you, bro. I do not blame you. I wouldn't be paying that. Anyway, let's move on. Let's get into the actual show now. Big up everyone locked in. 2,000 of you. Like the video, subscribe. Thank you very much to everyone who supported Shaw on tour. And thank you to everyone who got us past 65k. I haven't actually... Today's video is sponsored, by the way. They won't be happy with the fact that I haven't mentioned them at all. Link in the description below. QR code in the top corner. Yeah, so today's video is sponsored by OneFootball. Link in the description below. Big up to them. They sponsored the whole of the Shaw on tour in America. Really appreciate it. You know, that's the kind of support that gets me on these tours. So when someone was asking earlier in the show, do Arsenal pay for you to go on tour? There's no help from Arsenal. Let me tell you that. No tickets, no discount, no nothing. So make sure you link that. Link is in the description below, people. And brilliant app, you know, brilliant app. So big up to OneFootball for the support. Right, let's start with the man, the myth, the legend, the icon, Arsene Wenger. The second dad to many Arsenal fans. The manager that probably took every Arsenal fan to their greatest height, depending on what age you are, I suppose. Certainly for me, took us to our greatest heights. Also took us to very low depths where we weren't very happy. That is for sure. But he's got the acknowledgement that he deserves today. And Arsene Wenger has a statue at the Emirates holding up the Premier League trophy. It's finally been put there. I want to say a couple things about it. I don't want to go on about it too much. First of all, absolutely deserves this statue. No matter what anybody thinks. And listen, I'm in the same bracket. I thought Arsene Wenger needed to leave. I felt he needed to be pushed because he always thought that he could fix the problem, and in the end he started making it worse. I think he should have left a few years earlier, but I'll always acknowledge how unbelievable this guy was as a manager. Thierry, all these players, man, what he did, he's an icon. He deserves that. Should have been gold. This is the thing I was going to say about this. Statues, fine, nothing wrong with it. Surely you make the trophy gold. We're the only club in Premier League history to have a gold Premier League title. So surely that trophy should have been gold. Second of all, I'm surprised they didn't make more of the unveiling. They literally put it there and just took the sheet off it and said it's been unveiled. Not a big deal. I just thought they might have made, got some of the Invincibles there. Now, one great thing for anybody that's going to the Emirates Cup game on Wednesday, I believe it's sold out, Arsenal against Monaco. Arsene Wenger will be a special guest at the game. Obviously, he worked at Monaco, obviously worked at Arsenal, so he's going to be in the stadium. He is going to get an unbelievable reception at that game, and he deserves it, man. The guy is an absolute legend, an icon of Arsenal Football Club. But as I said, growing up, I think a lot of us thought did he make Arsenal? It was like Arsene Wenger, Arsenal. Did he make us? Like, a lot of people used to say that. Like, it was crazy. So, yeah, if you're going to the Emirates Cup on Wednesday, hopefully you get the pleasure of seeing Arsene Wenger in the stadium. I'm sure the fans will be singing his name. If they put in gold. Yeah, I thought they could have painted it gold, but hey, it is what it is. He's got his statue, well-deserved, an icon of the game, a legend of Arsenal, and well-deserved, man. This guy, yeah, a lot of you saying there, Scarrett, he changed English football. He definitely did, and he deserves that type of credit. For me, I would like to see Patrick Vieira. He captained the Arsenal team. Still, for me, the best centre midfielder that I've seen at Arsenal. So yeah, I think Vieira should have one. Potentially even maybe Ian Wright and Rocky Rocastle. Some people have said George Graham as well. I think because of the PR around George Graham, how he left, the fact he went to Tottenham as well, I'm not sure George Graham will ever get one, but Wenger deserves all of that credit. TMB Big C, bring Arsenal to Canada next time. We're not too far. Hey, let's see where they go next year. They've been America 2 years in a row. Will they go for a third year? I'm not sure. But yeah, while taking a huge salary, yeah, but listen, none of that was intentional, in my opinion. He couldn't get control of a situation, and it got worse for him, I suppose. Anyway, let's talk transfers. Arsenal being heavily linked with really only one player today, so we're going to break this one down. And yeah, it's what's interesting actually, just before we get into this story, is speaking to a few people at the club, and Clock Orange has just put a tweet in. I was getting the kind of impression that Arsenal might be going to America again. I spoke to a few people at the club, and this didn't come from him. I actually forgot. Obviously, we met Edu. Had a good chat with him. I put that picture up as well. Spent a good 10 minutes, the group of us, talking to him. And we actually had a laugh about the Mbappe question. He was laughing. He said, listen, you're going to have to write that check. No one's going to write that check here. Which probably tells you that no one would spend 150, 60 million. But yeah, the impression was they were saying like it could be America again next year, which is strange because they used to sort of rotate. They would go to America, then they'd maybe go like maybe China and then maybe Australia and then come back to America. It looks like they're just banging out America tours at the moment. But anyway, let's talk transfers and let's talk about Eze. Eze, the Crystal Palace player, is being heavily linked with a move to Arsenal today. And for me, I think he's a top player. I actually prefer Eze to Elise. Big up TRWS, congrats, good to meet you in New York. I prefer Eze to Elise. I like Elise, I think he's talented. But Eze has a calmness about him on the ball that I just love. He plays the game like he's older than how he looks and plays. Hey, that Drake concert comment is ringing off, man. Relax, people, relax. But yeah, Eze for me, I don't know why. Just quickly, right? I'm going to put a poll up about whether you would. In fact, let's get a poll up about this because we were linked with Elise the other day. Who do you prefer out of Eze or Elise? I don't want my opinion to have any influence on your opinion. If you know, a lot of people like Elise. I think the reason I prefer Eze, number one, I think there's a maturity about him. And I think he works a bit more. I think he puts work in a little bit more off the ball. Who would you prefer Arsenal to sign? Eze or Elise? There was some rumours linking us to Elise today, but they were very flimsy, so I decided not to talk about them. But I've put that poll up. If you could get one of the Crystal Palace players, who would you rather? I'll tell you one thing, just to add balance to the argument. I do prefer Eze. I think he's a better player. But Elise is younger. Elise plays right wing, which is where we probably need the depth more. And Eze has had quite a bad injury as well. So I am adding that balance there to say, listen, there is a way of probably saying that the argument would lean towards Elise more than Eze. I just think Eze is, I don't know, I just think there's a calmness about him on the ball. He just drifts past players. I would probably take either one of them, but I do prefer Eze, to be honest. So there is a poll up. Cap said Elise is Mahrez 2.0. I think we should get Kudus at MO7. Neither, if I'm honest. Kudus will do. If it ain't Eze, joke. I prefer, honestly, to Elise, said Franklin. Trixie said Elise all day. Goon Elise said Elise is what we need. We don't need Eze. Odegaard is twice the player Eze is. I suppose the thing is he plays a little bit more central. So is it easier to get Elise or Eze in the team? You would probably say Elise, but obviously Saka's going to play on the right, but he would definitely be the next choice. So yeah, it's interesting. Arsenal being linked with a move for Eze today. Apparently has rejected a new contract from Crystal Palace. And there are rumours that he wants to leave in order to possibly cement his place in the England squad for the Euros. He's 25 years of age. Now, the thing is, if he's playing for Crystal Palace, yeah, he's got an outside chance of going to the Euros. If he's playing for Arsenal, he's got a very good chance of going to the Euros. Now, Eze has got 2 years left on his Crystal Palace contract. And they need to get money. They've just lost Zaha on a free. It's believed they would want between 40 and 45 million pounds. Now, in the modern game, for 40 million pounds, I think that's a good price for a 25-year-old England international that can play attacking mid, can drift off the wing. I think he's a very good player. Elise would possibly cost a little bit more. He's got a bit more time on his contract. But you could get Kudus from Ajax for around 40 million as well. Would you rather sign him? There are possibilities there. Should have gone for Eze instead of Havertz, said Olu. Kudus would be for 40 million and he's younger. Could we swap him for Pepe? That would be a good shout. Pepe would probably be all right at Palace. Bring Eze home, said Simon. Trixie said, we need a forward that bangs in 20. Gonzalo Ramos, I think he's got 100 million release clause. But he is good. Jashar said, big up Curtis. Eze, no. Elise, no. Not for sale. As you know, Jashar is like a part Arsenal, part Palace fan. So he doesn't like us signing Palace players. Echo said, Kudus, then Eze, then Elise. Neither, we want better levels. As I've said many times, the difficulty that you've got is if you're trying to sign a winger or an attacking player or somebody to fit in those positions, if I'm a right winger and Arsenal try and sign me, I know that I'm sitting on the bench because Saka's starting every game. Unless it's a cup game or he's injured, you're not starting. So players, Arsenal are not necessarily going to go and sign a top quality right winger, because a top quality right winger is probably going to say, well, I'm going to be on the bench. So we're probably going to have to sign a right winger that's a little bit lower, that's going to say, I'm happy to be at Arsenal. I'll get some game time and I'll challenge him. And if he's on the bench, not going to go too crazy. So I think it would be somebody a little bit lower. Nelson, for me, a lot of people have said Nelson is Saka's backup. But I think Nelson's better on the left. And that's the thing. Juventus and Chelsea have been fined for breaking financial fair play rules. Chelsea have been fined, I think it's about £8 million. Juventus have been fined £10 million, and they've been kicked out of the Conference League for next season. They were in the Champions League, but they got 10 points taken off them for paperwork being forged and things like that. That put them into the Conference League. They've now been kicked out of that. So there's no Juventus in Europe next season, and Chelsea have been fined. So, the tampering, the cheating seems to be happening. Clubs fiddling with the books to balance them and stuff like that. So if I speak, I'm in big trouble. Eli is a new member. Big up to you, bro. Member stream pending. Carl said, how much would Arsenal get if they sold Martinelli? I mean, Mudryk cost 88 million as a left winger. I'm using that as a price point for me. Martinelli's better than Mudryk. Mudryk is rapid. He hasn't done anything in the Premier League. Martinelli's in the Brazil squad. He's one of the best left wingers in the Prem. He's 21. He plays for Arsenal. You'd have to turn up with 100 million to even start talking, in my opinion. Not that we want to sell him, of course. Of course we don't. But you got to turn up with 100 million just to even start negotiating. Otherwise, let's not even bother. I have to admit, just briefly, I know I'm going back here, the one Barcelona player that really stood out to me was Ousmane Dembele. I know we were linked with him years ago when he was at Dortmund. I know Wenger tried to get him. He'd done a little chop back on Ben White. And I'm telling you, he sent Ben White to the Hollywood Hills, man. It was vicious. Even one or two times he gave Timber problems. Timber pocketed Rafinha in the first half. But Dembele is a live wire. He's so two-footed. People saying he's being linked with PSG as a Messi replacement. So it'd be interesting if he goes there. Does he want to go back to France? But anyway, Eze, 2 years left on his contract. Being linked with a move to Arsenal, could be available for 40 to 45 million pounds. Now, the reason I put in the title, Eze return to Arsenal, because some people were messaging like, what do you mean return to Arsenal? So Eze was released by Arsenal at the age of 13. And he did an interview where he said that he cried when he left Arsenal. And he said he was devastated. And he said his dream has always been to play for the club that he supported as a boy, which is the Gunners. And he earns £30,000 a week, which in the modern game in the Premier League is absolute peanuts to get him on 30 grand a week. So listen, if Arsenal were to go for Eze, he wouldn't cost huge money and he wouldn't cost huge wages. So it's definitely a doable deal. And like I said, he's an Arsenal fan and somebody that I'm sure would love to join the club. So yeah, listen, they do all say that, we know that Zaha's an Arsenal fan, Eze, but listen, will we go for him? I've got to be honest, I would be surprised if Arsenal signed Eze. I rate him, but I think he's better central in the attacking midfield role. And I think with Havertz, with Odegaard, with Fabio Vieira, I'm calling him Vieira today because he scored a belter the other day. So we'll give him a little bit of respect. I just don't see it happening. I think Kudus or Elise, somebody that can play on the right, would be more realistic. Would you have signed him ahead of Havertz? In reality, you've got Eze, Havertz, James Maddison, 3 attacking midfielders that you could have possibly got in that attacking midfield role. But listen, here's what it is. Eze being linked, 30 grand a week, easy to negotiate that contract, 40 million It's a doable deal. I'm just not sure Arsenal are going to sign another attacking midfield player. Okay. Let me just say one thing quickly about Havertz, because I've had a lot to say about Havertz prior to him signing and when he did sign. I made it abundantly clear that I wasn't happy with that deal. I don't think, number one, we should have paid 65 million for him, and I'm genuinely not sure we should have signed him. But do you know what? I think we've all got to try and be patient with Havertz. I'm still not convinced that he's the player we should have signed. But I think the manager's got a plan for him. And I think we saw in the first half against Barcelona that there is a player there. There is a player there. He's clever. Gets in little pockets of space. He's tall as well, by the way. Very tall. I think they said he's 6'3", 6'4". So he's kind of... You don't really see attacking midfielders who are that big, you know. So he's quite a unique player. I'm not convinced by him, but one thing I'll tell you about him, I always looked at him at Chelsea. I always thought he was quite miserable. Yeah, I always thought he didn't have a lot of personality. He kind of walked around a little bit miserable. Having seen Arsenal close up over the past week, 10 days, he looks like he's happy to be at Arsenal. And trust me, someone said, who is it? Trixie, don't go. Trust me, I'm not changing. I'm not changing. Do I think we should have signed him? No. I think we could have signed someone better. Let me get one thing clear. I've never questioned whether Kai Havertz has got talent. You don't lose talent, and he is talented. What I've questioned is he's stinking out the place at Chelsea for 3 seasons. I think up front, he's horrible up front, especially for Chelsea. But in attacking midfield, where he played for Leverkusen, maybe we can get something out of him, is what I'm saying. He's not a complete write-off. He's not. Let me put it this way. Where Granit Xhaka was at Arsenal 18 months ago is way worse than where Havertz is even now. Havertz got way more ability than Granit Xhaka, and he's younger, and he can learn and improve. Granit Xhaka just had a very good season, 7 goals, 7 assists. You know, so what I'm saying is if he can get Xhaka from down there to putting in good performances, then maybe Havertz can. Maybe. But we'll see. I think my question with Havertz is, can he put that defensive work in? As I said, if you're at Anfield, you don't even have to be at Anfield. If you're at Everton and you've got Onana and Decore and, you know, these men putting you under pressure, can he put that defensive work in? Time will tell. 2 goals in 3 games in pre-season. It's a steady start. I think Havertz's going to be one of these players that when we play well, I think he'll look really good. I think he'll look really good. When we play well, Havertz will look really good. When we're struggling and a team's overrunning us, I think he can disappear. I think against Man United, when they were getting the better of us, you couldn't see him. But against Barcelona, when we were passing, you know, playing well, he looked really good. So time will tell. So I haven't completely changed. I don't want people to say, oh, you're being shameless. No, what I'm saying is you can see there's a talented player there. Trust me, there is a talent there. It's just whether you can get him to produce that. I definitely think he looks happier. And I think there's a hunger to prove himself, you know. So we'll see. We'll see. You know, listen, at the end of the day, if you're an Arsenal fan, we want him to do well. Because we spent big money on him, so why would we not? And a lot of you saying Ozil. Ozil was one of them players. If we were good, he was unbelievable. If we were bad, you were carrying him. So let's see with that one. A said neither, because Arteta would play them 8 like Trossard. He's talking about Eze and them, man. Cole said, should Trossard start every game? No, I don't think he should, Cole. One game doesn't completely make a player. Trossard against Barcelona was the best player on the pitch. It's as simple as that. He got man of the match. He scored 2 goals. He was incredible. His close ball control, his dribbling, his finishing, his ability to shoot with both feet. He's a heck of a player. Let's not forget how good Gabriel Martinelli is. You know, this is a Brazilian international that would probably cost upwards of 100 million. I think you've got to be willing to rotate at times. I think at times Trossard could play in that 8 role. I think he's clever enough and good enough on the ball to go into the 8 role, and you could play Martinelli wide as well. I think you need genuine competition for places. I think you pick and choose depending on the opposition. If you're playing against Trent, you play Martinelli because Martinelli's cooked Trent a number of times, and that direct running style really troubles him. Against a different fullback, you might need a Trossard that can get on the ball, be a little bit more patient, keep possession a little bit. So I think Trossard's going to get a lot of football. He can also play through the middle. Jashar said, big up Curtis, based on what you've seen, would you have preferred to have spent the same money inside Caicedo instead of both Havertz and Timber? I would say... That's a great question. I would say no. I would say no. And I'll tell you why. Because I think if you've got Partey and Declan Rice, I don't think you're desperate for Caicedo. Would I still take him? 100%. Are we desperate for him? Not really. Chelsea had an £80 million offer rejected for Caicedo, which means he's going to probably cost you 90 or 100 million to buy him. Now, if you got Caicedo, Rice and Partey, you can't play all three of them. Because who's going to get on the ball and make something happen? You've got to play Odegaard, which means one of them three have got to get dropped. So, listen, Havertz is a massive question mark. It's a gamble. I think Timber is going to be absolutely outstanding for us, what I've seen in pre-season. He was the biggest surprise for me in pre-season. Urian Timber. Listen, it's pre-season, so you never know what's going to happen. But he looks like a tank. He's strong, he's quick, he's aggressive, he can pass, he can dribble on the ball. Timber looks like he could be an unbelievable signing for £37 million. And I thought Thomas Partey was excellent in that first half against Barcelona. So I actually would take Havertz and Timber, I've got to be honest. A said, Kurt, Fabio Vieira, talk to me. You must be worried. Again, he plays for Arsenal. I hope he proves us all wrong. Hope he proves all of us wrong. What a fantastic goal he scored the other night. I was delighted for him. I walked out of that stadium in New Jersey. 2-0 defeat. We go to penalties. He puts his penalty in the Hudson River. It went that high. Thinking, what's the point? What is the point? And then 3-4 days later, he bends one in the top corner against Barcelona. Fair play. Fair play to him. Anyone who plays for Arsenal, I want him to prove us all wrong and perform. Simple as that. If he does well, it's better for Arsenal. Big up my brother Broads in the chat. Hope you're well, my bro. I just clicked on his comment. I don't know where it's gone. Sure on tour, what a guy. Hey, big up, bro. I have to give thanks, man. What an opportunity to go over there and you know, watch Arsenal and get the media access and all that, man. It was absolutely incredible. I've gone off Caicedo. Looks like he wants to go anywhere. I think whoever offers him a big contract, he's going to go there. That's the worry. From Cedric to Timber. Big upgrade. Big up yourself, my bro. Fatty Fum said, Fabio, but hey, Fabio, come on. Magic said, what are your thoughts on needing a striker? If it were me, I'd be hijacking Sadio Mane. Mane's going to Saudi, man. The money's too big. I have to admit, I'm delighted that Mbappe rejected Saudi. I think that would have been a defeat for football. For me, the best player in the world. I think he needs to be in the Champions League. Sadio Mane's going to Saudi. Seeing you in LA was epic. Big up to you, Anthony, bro. Big up. Great to meet the community. Got so much fan love over there. It was unbelievable. Yeah, especially I think the game in New York, New Jersey was the biggest. Like, fans were like, yo, so many pictures, man. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's crazy because I'm like, yo, I played professional football. Like, I used to hardly sign any autographs or pictures in League Two. People are like, oh, yeah, there he is, or whatever. You know what I mean? And then you're just sitting there talking about football and fans are showing you love, man. It's amazing. But yeah, Sadio Mane Broads is back with the granddad joke of all granddad jokes. But I respect that one. That is a good one. Big up Marcel, who said, well deserved, Curtis. Great experience. Thank you very much, bro. Listen, I spoke about this on Transfer Daily on AFTV. I spoke about it on my channel. I would love to see Arsenal sign Ivan Toney. I can't say it much more. Even the fact that he's banned, I would still sign him. Go and use that to get a discount. You know? I would go and sign him. I would offer them Balogun or Nketiah and cash and go and get him. Imagine if we're in the top 2 in January and then Ivan Toney drops into your squad. You know, you're cooking. You're absolutely cooking. But I don't think we're going to buy a striker. Joey said, big up from South Texas. Hope Arsenal come to Texas next year. We'd love to link up with you all and introduce you to good old Texas barbecue and Mex cuisine. Big up Joey Silva. I hope they do go America again, to be fair. Just because if they go Australia, man, that 24-hour flight, that's intimidating, I can't lie. Want to go Saudi 3rd Division? Listen, man's saying they're paying 3-4 grand a week in Saudi 3rd Division. I genuinely... You give me 4 weeks to get fit, I can play in Saudi 3rd Division, man. Real talk. 4 grand a week, I'm on it. Anyway, let's move on. Big C jet lag got you looking like you just... Oh, bro, honestly, I set up the stream at 5:30. I said I'll give it 2 hours because a lot of the community won't expect me to be live in the evening. So I'll leave it for 2 hours, and I was falling asleep. I was genuinely... I'm trying desperately to stay awake till the evening so that... Well, I know it's the evening now, actually. It's 8:45, but... I'm trying to stay awake so that I can kind of get my body clock back because LA was 8 hours behind. Make sure everyone goes and tunes in to the Big Six at 9 o'clock. Go and support Turkish and all the guys. Me and Turkish were talking on tour. We're going to try and get a weekly show sorted during the season. Rotate on each channel. So obviously 1 week on my channel, the next on his. Maybe 30, 40 minutes. A lot of people have been asking for me and him to do content. And yeah, we're going to get that sorted. Hopefully get that lined up next week and start for the first week of the season. But yeah, jet lag, man. Jeez, it does tire you out. Talk is cheap, bro. Go do it. You love the lifestyle. You can end up managing one of the big. But listen, I'm genuinely going to have a look into it. Somebody sent me an article the other day saying that the Saudi leagues are offering 3 or 4 grand a week in their 3rd division. And it's very, very low standard. So, listen, if you see me in Saudi doing daily streams, just know what's happened, people. The move could happen. Anyway, let's move on. Let me end that stream. End the stream? Let me end that poll. Let me end that poll. Eze, 62%, 38% Elise. It would be decent. It would be decent. I would actually take any of them, but... I'll be surprised if we were to buy Eze. Beresford Productions said Fabio only performs in the off-season. Guess you could say he's too friendly. He's been a member for 2 months. Big up Beresford. Yeah, he needs to perform in the league. I think the problem for him is ideally he wants to play where Odegaard plays, and Odegaard has been so good there, man. Sheik Curtis Shaw, yeah, man. I'll do it. Who did you get on best with on tour? It's honestly impossible to say. I know it sounds like I'm sitting on the fence. I honestly can't say. I have a different bond with each person there, you know. I can tell you one thing. We all got on great. Not one argument. We were laughing all the time. We had a great time. Who are you starting in our first league game? Trossard or Martinelli? Listen, 7 days is a long time in football. At the moment, Trossard is the man. He's just had a great game. He deserves to start. We play Monaco on Wednesday. We play Man City at the weekend. Let's have that conversation in a week. If Martinelli has a stormer against Man City, we're all going to be saying Man City. That game should be against Forest should be Martinelli. So we'll see. A week's a long time in football. Would Ivan Toney bet on joining Arsenal? Oh, it's too soon. I will go sit in the naughty corner. No need to say anything. I know. It's one of them, innit? We can't laugh about it. It's an illness at the end of the day. He's a gambling addict, isn't he? Go do a Ben Foster podcast at the same time with the GoPro. That would be good. Take me on tour next time. Listen, try and get over there, people. It's brilliant. Fraser said, I met Lee Judges, was cool. I also met Julian. He seems like a nice guy. Apologies, Fraser, I didn't meet you. I wasn't at that fan park because I went to the game. So, yeah, man. Jashar said, big up Curtis, you and Turkish should do a late night stream, tap into the US fans. I'm definitely going to start doing some late night streams because I've noticed get a lot of different people in the comments for obviously people in different parts of the world. The daytime streams probably don't always connect with your timing and work and things like that. Clock Orange, hear me out, Curtis. Havertz, striker, Trossard, left centre mid, Partey and Rice, DM. Wow. Havertz up front over Gabriel Jesus. I'm struggling with that. I'm always willing to listen. I thought Jesus was fantastic against Barcelona. I know he didn't score, but he did everything but score. He was twisting, turning. He was brilliant. Oh, bro, if I'm looking tired, man, it's the jet lag, people. It's the jet lag, trust me. Didn't have his shooting boots on in that. Bro, I'm blaming the heat. The heat got the better of me. It was good to play against Dennis Irwin, though. For those that don't know, obviously, you may have seen it on AFTV. They invited us to a Man United Legends game, which I was a bit like, why are you inviting us to this? And Dennis Irwin was playing. It was good fun, to be fair. It was really good fun. The heat was absolutely outrageous. Curtis, how serious are you taking the Emirates Cup and Community Shield? Listen, we should win the Emirates Cup, let's be honest. Community Shield, to me, is the first game of the season. That's how important it is to me. It's Man City. It's the team that, if you're challenging for the title, that's the team you've got to get the better of. Whether you think the Community Shield is a glorified friendly, some people think it's a really important game. The game against City is massive. It's massive. It's as simple as that. The US is a great market. Could you see yourself living there? Listen, there's some places in the US that I could live. I got to be honest with you. You got to have money. You got to have money. America is expensive. Different going there for 10 days from living there, you know. Went in them supermarkets, man. Stuff is expensive over there. Community Shield is a must. Yeah, we got to clip Man City, man. Let them know we're serious. Go and beat them at Wembley. Anyway, let's move on. Couple more stories and then we'll round up, people. Thank you to everyone locked in. I know it was a bit of a surprise stream, but I thought first day back, let me get on here. I want to round up for 9 o'clock because I know the Big Six is on at 9. I want to go and want everyone to go and obviously support Turkish on there. Lexus says, big up on the US press access. You and AFTV a big deal, reaching big heights. Loving the rise. Big up yourself, bro. Jashar said, I can't lie, Dennis was a baller. You know, I actually had a convo with him after the game and I said, listen, man, you was a good player back in the day. And then I bantered him. I said, you know, you weren't as good as Ashley Cole at left back, though. I'm not sure how funny you found that joke. He was a little giggle, but it's one of them where, is it a polite laugh or does he genuinely think it's funny? I don't know, but it felt appropriate at the time. I had to bring him down to earth. Ashley Cole's still the best left back in the Prem. Anyway, let's move on. One player that looks like he could be on his way out is Sambi, aka Bambi Lokonga. He's being linked with a move to Jose Mourinho's Roma, which is interesting. Mourinho is looking for an energetic midfielder to go in there and play next to the likes of Matic, and he's targeting Sambi Lokonga. Now, it's believed that Roma actually want to sign him on a permanent deal, and they would be willing possibly to offer around £7 or £8 million for him. I would sell him for that. I've got to be honest. I know we paid about 16, 17 million for him. I would try and maybe get up to 10 million for him, but I'd let him go. I don't rate him. I don't think he's good enough. The loan move didn't even really go well for him. I think he's in a tough position right now. I actually think a move to Roma is a bigger move than I expected him to get. Roma in Europe next year. You got Mourinho as manager. You got Matic, Dybala players. I think it's a good move for him. Slower division as well. I would definitely, if I was his agent, I'd be saying that's a good move for you. You just got to put the work in because you know that Mourinho is unforgiving. 7 to 8 million, it's believed they're willing to offer. For me, I'd try and get 10 and I'd keep it moving. You can get to 10, I'd let him go. Would you loan him? Are you in the opinion that, listen, he's 24, he can still develop. It only takes one good loan move and all of a sudden you see a player maybe Arsenal could loan him with an option to buy rather than sell him. Just what I've seen of him, I think he's miles off it. So I would be willing to probably sell him for me and get his wages off the bill, because the problem is if he goes on loan and doesn't do well, you're stuck in the same situation again next summer trying to sell him, which is always disappointing when a player comes back off loan and you're back to square one. So me personally, if Roma want to buy him, I would use the opportunity to get rid of him. No disrespect. Arsenal need to clear the wage bill. Arteta said in the press conference after Barcelona that our squad is too big. We have to reduce the wages. 30 players in the first team squad at the moment. That would probably indicate at least 5 or 6 players need to go. Gunnar said, take 2 million and run. I think it's time for him to go. Hassan said, loan in the Prem, get a better sell on. Drew said he's not that guy. Liverpool won the Community Shield against City. Munib said he's not good enough at 24. I see nothing in him. I would let him go. I would shift him on permanently if I could get his wages off the wage bill. Another player that looks as if he could be going, they're still in talks, and that is following Balogun being heavily linked again today with a move to Inter Milan. Inter apparently, according to some reports today, have had a £35 million offer rejected for following Balogun. It's believed Arsenal want 40 to 45 million for Balogun to even think about accepting, maybe even 50 million with add-ons. So maybe they could pay 40 plus 10 in add-ons. So there is a little bit of a negotiation there to go off. But it's interesting. It is interesting. Would you? I think he's gonna go. I do think he's gonna go. He hardly kicked a ball on the tour. He came on for a few minutes against the MLS All-Stars. He didn't play against Man United. He didn't play against Barcelona. The manager said he had a knock, but I think they're getting rid of him. I think they're in negotiations with Inter. I think they're keeping him out of the frame just to make sure he doesn't get injured. So I think he's on his way. Balogun looks so much more physically stronger than Nketiah. Arsenal finally doing a proper deal. Cameron said, Big C, I hope you're not going to make this little exposure hold back from saying it as it is. Not at all, my friend. Not at all. I will still call it out. To me, when you call something out in a respectful manner, you can do it. When I criticise Edu, when I've criticised players, I don't swear about them. I don't say anything personal. I question them from a footballing perspective. If they need to be questioned, they will be questioned. At the start of this show, somebody said about Aaron Ramsdale. I said he needs to sort himself out because I don't think he's under enough pressure. I think he's playing with a little bit of arrogance. His kicking hasn't been good enough lately. And he's conceded some sloppy goals that he should be saving. So we'll always say it as it is, people. We will always say it as it is. Heard from sources he wants guarantees he will get game time, but he's open to the move. I spoke to someone out there who was interviewing him. And he said to me, clear as day, Balogun wants to play for Arsenal next season. He doesn't want to move. Moving is not his first choice. But I just don't think he believes he's going to get the game time that he wants. He's 21. He's just had a full season in the French league starting every week. Once you get that taste of playing and starting, the last thing you want to do is go and sit on the bench. And I think he feels with Jesus, Havertz and Nketiah, where's he going to get his game time from? So I think as soon as Inter get to a certain number, that Balogun will leave, which is a shame. Because one of our own and he's a bright talent. But it is what it is, people. Let's start to round up the show. It is 5 to 9. The jet lag is setting in. If I look a little more tired than usual, forgive me, people. We have been linked with Eze for 40 million. Eze, a very good player. Played for Arsenal in the youth team. Would be a good signing. But do we need him in that attacking midfield role? Balogun being linked again with a move to Inter Milan. And Lokonga being linked with a move to Roma. Very interesting there. And we definitely need to sell some players in the next week or two. Pepe, Lokonga, Tavares, Cedric, El Neni for me would go. But we'll have to see with that one. I will be doing a fantasy football league. I'll post the link and everything next We'll do it next week. We're doing the week before the season starts. So, yeah, maybe next weekend. Danny said, big up, Curtis. Keep up the good work, bro. Big up for you on that. Appreciate that. Eddie to Palace. I would love to see that. Moises said, Renarson on loan. Nuno 25. Yeah, you ain't getting 25 for Nuno. Trusty on loan. Holding 10. Cedric 10. Laconga 20. Patino loan. Pepe 15. Marquinhos loan. Balogun. I think that's higher than you can expect. You ain't getting 25 for Nuno. I'll be shocked if you get 10 for Cedric or Holding, and 20 mil for Laconga. I think it's a stretch. They're talking about Pepe going for nothing. Balogun, you might get 40. Jay said, exactly, Curtis. You give respect to get respect. Exactly. People, I'm going to round up there. Honestly, if I feel like if I stream for too long, I'll be half asleep. I already look like I've been on that Cali pack. I honestly haven't. It's just the jet lag, people. But I will be back. I'll be back on tomorrow at some stage. It may be a pre-recorded, but I'll definitely be back on over the weekend. Thank you to everyone who supported Shaw on tour. Amazing tour. Really enjoyed it. Thank you for all your interaction, your comments, your support, your views. Don't forget to download OneFootball. Link in the description below and in the QR code. And we'll be back tomorrow. We're back in England. It's not quite as hot as LA, but the news keeps on flowing, people. Take care, everyone. Bless.